defining moment is getting the law passed. If for anybody that knows what it is to get laws passed in Nigeria, you will know that was it. It was the watershed. The law had been in process for the last 10 years. 10 good years. We've been trying to get that law passed. We passed it in 5 months. It was a no mean feat. It was a milestone and a game changer. It made clear definition of our intent, our stance, and what we think the future will look like. Yeah, that's a very pregnant question. And it's pregnant because as a leader, one of the things I must not do is to shy away from responsibility. And taking responsibility means being part of everything else. I haven't spent the time I spent in the SEC. It is difficult to say, okay, I was totally not involved in a situation that happened before I came in. So it wasn't as good as one would want it to be, but I was serving at the SEC. I probably didn't have the power to change it, and I prayed that I would be able to someday. And of course, I will say that God answered our prayers, and I became the DG of the SEC. So in the capital market, we speak with numbers. Speaking to a particular set of the capital market or a particular section of the capital market talks to equity. And equity, we use the indices to measure the market. When we came into government, the indices for Nigerian capital market, for the Nigerian exchange, equities market capitalization was 55 trillion naira. Today, it is 91 trillion naira, almost double in less than a year and a half. That for us is significant. It's huge. It speaks to exactly what has happened in the market. Besides that, at the time we came into government, the law governing the SEC was already stale. That is the ISA 2007. And so there was a need for a rejuvenation, a need for a recalibration, a need for a resuscitation. And in 5 months, a new law was passed and signed into by Mr. President on the 25th day of March 2025. That is huge. Before we came in, the digital asset space regulation was devoid of clarity. When we came in, we made sure that happened. And we launched the regulatory incubation and the accelerated regulatory incubation program. And from there, we started giving licenses to people who are in the innovative space, called the innovators, on fintech and innovation. When we came in, the time to market for issuances was sometimes up to 1.5 years, sometimes 2 years. Totally unimpressive. But when we came in, it became 14 days. It was a miracle of all times. It did happen. When it came in, the entire capital market had over 2,000 people waiting for registration. And a lot of them had been there for about over a year. When we came in, we started ploying them, and we cleared almost everyone, who was waiting at that time. The list is endless. We fought Ponzi schemes with our might. We came out to the public, the general public, we went to the markets, we went everywhere to get people to understand that Ponzi schemes are dangerous. They need to know what they actually need to look out for when the Ponzi schemes or the scammers approach them. When we came in, we were less visible than what we are today. Today, we can say, we can beat our chest, and a lot of people now know that there is an SEC. education is critical for us. We have pursued education with all of the vigor that we need. When we came in, the market recapitalization for the bank recapitalization was launched. And we can confidently tell you that the success of that process or that policy of the central bank was a result of the efforts of the staff of the SEC. Today, we've raised over 2 trillion as equity for banks that are recapitalizing. These, for us, are major feats. Besides the other programs and processes we have embarked on, which time certainly will not permit us to read out completely. But we can beat our chest that God has been on our side. And government policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been an enabler to making sure that this happens.